In this video, we are going to see how to add new Google Forms responses as Basecamp to-dos. So let's say that you're using Google Form as a form builder application, and every time you have received a new response after submission, so with the information received, you want to create a to-do in Basecamp, which is a team collaboration and project management software. Now, how can this be done? For this, you will have to integrate the two applications, and the same thing can be done using Pabbly Connect software. Here your trigger application would be Google Forms and your action application would be Basecamp. Now, how can you do this yourself? Integrate and automate this entire process. To understand that, let me take you to my screen. To begin with the process, we are first going to type the URL pabbly.com/connect, and as we do that, here we have reached the landing page of this software. On the right hand side, you can see two options: sign in and sign up for free. So if you are an existing user, simply click on sign in. If you are a new user, click on this tab sign up. It won't take more than 2 minutes. And also at the time of account creation, you will get 100 free tasks. So now I'm going to click on sign in, and as I do that, here we have reached the all applications page. Let's click on access now for Pabbly Connect. And as we do that, we have reached the dashboard. On the right hand side, you can see a tab create workflow. Let's click on this. Now, what is my objective here? My objective is that every time a new Google form is filled and we have received a response, then with the information received, we want to create a to-do in our Basecamp. Now, I'm going to click on create. As I do that, here we have reached another window which has got two extremely important events. One is trigger, another one is action. Triggers and actions are basically those two principles or concepts on which this entire automation works. Trigger is when this happens, an action here says do this. Basically, action is the response of your trigger application. Now, as per this integration, my trigger application would be Google Form. Let's click on this. Now the trigger event. So this is the event that will make my workflow run, and here it is a new response received. Now here you can see that we have received a webhook URL which is going to act as a bridge for connecting Google Forms with Pabbly Connect. What we have to do is we have to follow the following steps. So first I'm going to copy this. Now I'm going to take you to my Google Forms account. Here I have already created a form, new task. So here we have to fill in the task details. So the name of the task, task description, and now this last field is due date. Here you can see that we have got a field required for the last field. We have to move it towards the right so that this can be on. Now what will happen every time a user fills in this form, the moment this last field is filled, automatically a response will be received. Now we are taking you to responses, and here you can see three dots. Let's click on this. We have to select the response destination. Now here we have got two options. Either we can create a new spreadsheet or we can select an existing spreadsheet. I'm going to click on create. So as I do that and click on this icon, here you can see that a sheet has opened with all the column fields that were there in our form. Apart from one which is timestamp, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly format this so that this is clearly visible to you. Okay, so here you can see that we have an extra field. The name is timestamp. Basically, this is going to record the time and date of every new data received here. Going back to our Google Forms, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to preview. And here we have the form right in front of us. Now I'm going to fill in this form. So let's say the name of the task is seminar discussion. Okay, and then we have the task description. Discussion on venue and management. Now due date. So let's say the due date here is 30th of January. I'm going to click on submit. So as I do that, here we can see that our response has been recorded. So now I'm going to take you back to the Google Sheet, and yes, here you can see that our response is now added in this spreadsheet. What we are going to do now is we are going to go to extensions, go to add-ons, go to get add-ons. And here we have reached Google Workspace Marketplace. Here we have to look for Pabbly Connect webhooks. So you can see that this particular application has already been installed on my system. So now what you have to do is, as you install this, close this window and refresh this page. This is absolutely important. And once you have refreshed this, you have to wait for a few seconds, and then we are going to go back to extensions. As we click on this, you would be able to find Pabbly Connect webhooks here. We'll go to initial setup. Now here you can see that it has already selected the sheet. This webhook URL that we had just received, I'm going to copy this once again, go back to the sheet, and I'm going to paste this here. Now comes the trigger column. Trigger column is the final data column where the data is added. So for us, this is column D. I'm going to write D here, click on send test. As I do that, here we can see that the test data has been sent successfully. I'm going to click on submit. And as I do that, here we can see that the configuration is all set. Let's close this. We are going to go back to Pabbly Connect webhooks, and here you can see send on event. So please make sure that you check on this. Why? Because if it is not checked, then we won't receive the new responses. Now I'm going to take you to Pabbly Connect to see if we have received the response here. Yes, we have received the response. So here we have the trigger column, timestamp, task description, task name, spreadsheet ID, sheet name, sheet ID, row index, and due date. Now once we have received this, what is my objective? My objective here is to create a to-do in Basecamp. So I'm going to choose my action application as Basecamp. Let's click on this. And now the action event here would be to create to-do. Let's click on this and click on connect. So we have to create a to-do task in my to-do list. Here Pabbly Connect is again asking to connect itself with the Basecamp account. I'm going to select add new connection, connect with Basecamp. I have already logged into my Basecamp account. So here it is asking me to provide the access. So I'm going to click on yes, I'll allow the access. And here we can see that the authorization has been successful, which means that Pabbly Connect is now connected with Basecamp. Now here we have to fill in the following information: account, project, list ID, the name, description, due on, assignee IDs. To understand this, first I'm going to take you to my Basecamp account. So this is my Basecamp account, and here you can see that the name of the account is Pabbly. Okay, then we have the project. So here I already have created a project. This is project Pabbly video. So I've just got one project and the system has automatically acquired it. Then comes the list ID. So as I take you to Basecamp, here I have got the to-dos. Let me show you. So I have got two to-dos here, content writing task and video creation task. You can create your own list here. Now let's say that I want my to-do to be added to this particular list, video creation task. As I click on this, so here this is the list ID. And now I'm going to copy this, go back to Pabbly Connect and paste this over here. Okay. Now comes the name. So here the name of the task we are going to map. How do we do that? As I click on this, it is going to show me the previous step, and then this here is the task name. Then comes the description. So I'm going to click on this, and this here is the description. Then we have the due date. It is due on, but here you can see that we have to fill in the data in this format, which is year, month and date. And the date that we have received is month, date and year. So we are supposed to change the format. For this, I'm going to add another action step. And this time, this is a feature by Pabbly, which is date time formatter. Let's click on this. Now the action event here would be to format date only. Let's click on connect. And now let's fill in the date. So we are again going to map. Why is mapping important? Mapping is important so that every time we fill in this data, every time the workflow runs, it can take the new data into consideration. If I write this manually, it will be stuck with the manually written data. That's why mapping is important. So going to step 1, this here is the date. And now from format is month, date and year, which is this. What do I want here? Okay, month, date and year, this one, yeah. What do I want here to format? Year, month and date. Let's click on save and send test request. And as we do that, here you can see that we have received our date in the desired format. I'm going to set up this connection once again, selecting the existing connection. This is just to refresh. And once we have done this, here I'm going to click on due on. You can see step 2, this is my date. Then comes the assignee ID. Now, as I take you to Basecamp, and here I'm going to go back to Pabbly video, and as I click on this, set up people. So here you can see people who can see this project, basically people who are working on this project. So I have created a few people, I have added a few people who are working on this project. Now You can add more people by clicking on this tab. Now let's say when I say that I need the ID, either you can do that, you can write the IDs in one particular sheet and then you can take it from there, or you can just write it manually like I'm going to do. So as I click on edit information, so this here is the ID. So I'm going to copy this, go back to Pabbly Connect, paste this over here, put a comma, and then I'm going to again go back. Why? Because I want that all these tasks should be assigned to only these two people. Okay, so now I'm going to click on edit information once again, and this again is the ID. I'm going to copy this, go back to Pabbly Connect, paste this. So now all these tasks would be assigned to only these two people. And now I'm going to click on save and send test request. As I do that, here we have received the API response, which basically says that now a to-do must be created in Basecamp. Taking you back to Basecamp. Now I'm going to go to home. Let's go to Pabbly video. And here I'm going to go to to-dos, and within this video creation task, you can see seminar discussion. This particular task has been created. This basically means that our integration process is a success, but we also need to check this in real time. So now I'm going to take you back to my Google Forms, and here I'm going to submit another response. Let's say this time the name of the task is video details discussion, and what is the task description? Video quality and due date to be discussed. Okay, now the due date is, let's say it is 27th of January. I'm going to click on submit. So as I do that, here we can see that the response has been submitted. Now I'm going to take you to my Basecamp, and here I'm going to refresh the page quickly, so you can see that another task, another to-do has been created. So I hope that this is absolutely clear to you. Now I'm going to take you back to Pabbly Connect to understand what we have done. So here our trigger application is Google Forms, where the event is new response received. Then our action application is Basecamp, where our event is create to do. To format the date, we have used a feature by Pabbly, which is date time formatter. I hope this is absolutely clear to you. If in case you have any doubt, you can refer to the workflow which is given in the video description. You can also clone the same and start to process immediately. Apart from this, if you have any specific integration to work on, you can always write to us. Not only this, but you can integrate multiple applications using Pabbly Connect software. To ask any of your query, you have to write at forum.pabbly.com. You can also visit our website, which is www.pabbly.com/connect. To get all the details about the latest updates, the integrations and applications, you can visit our Facebook group. If in case you have found this video helpful, then do not forget to share this with your friends and colleagues so that they can also get into automation and make their life easy. I'm going to see you very soon with different integrations and automations. Do not forget to like, share and subscribe. Take care of yourself.